Tom, the Cabinet has been meeting this morning. What do we know about that meeting?
It has. We do not yet have a readout from that meeting, but it's pretty unusual for such a meeting to take place on a Monday. Normally, Cabinet is held on Tuesdays. Clearly, the government is in a state of expecting this to be an ongoing crisis-like situation. We know that there were a number of COBRA meetings over the last few days as well, chaired by the Prime Minister and other senior Cabinet ministers. So really, when we're looking at what more the UK can do, there are a number of options. Of course, legislation is coming before the House of Commons today to deal with some of the dodgy dealings that foreign oligarchs may be having in London, trying to clear up, create a public register of that land and that property, but also in terms of unexplained wealth orders, these National Crime Agency mechanisms that are really getting beefed up today as well. So there's stuff that's happening on the domestic side in terms of sanctions, but also there are a lot of calls from voices within Ukraine that more needs to be done for military support as well.
And just on the issue of individual Brits going to fight Russian forces, Liz Truss, the Foreign Secretary, appeared to support that yesterday. Ben Wallace, the Defence Secretary, much more cautious. Just tell us what the line is from government on that.
Certainly, it's been a bit of a confusing situation because, of course, we know there have been individuals who have responded to calls from many within Ukraine, particularly former armed forces servicemen, who have said that they will go along, that they will go and fight. And the Foreign Secretary seemed to be pretty gung-ho about that yesterday. However, the Defence Secretary and indeed just Defence Minister James Heappey have been a lot more cautious about that, saying that they wouldn't encourage it, pointing to war being the nasty thing that it is. It seems like the MOD has a much more cautious tone when it comes to that issue than some other elements of government. What I'll get for you, Gloria, is a solid line, hopefully after our lobby briefing this afternoon, where we can really take the government to task over some of these confusing lines. I'll be able to come back to you later on this afternoon with if number 10 is able to get a clearer line out after that confusion.
And Tom, finally, the issue of refugees. The British government says will provide refuge to Ukrainian citizens if they have immediate family members here. Now, they are coming under criticism from the Labour Party and some Conservative MPs. That is too limited. Do we expect to get any change on that?
I think it's a pretty safe bet that there will be more to say on this issue, that the government will come forward with further routes and new rules. I think it's incredibly unlikely, however, that there'll be a complete visa waiver of the kind that the European Union has done, doing away with paperwork for 3 years for those leaving Ukraine. That's the situation in the European Union. I think it's unlikely that that will be the situation in the UK. Simple geographies and matters of scale come into play here, but certainly there is a lot of pressure for the United Kingdom to do more. I would expect the United Kingdom to make more announcements on this. They seem to hint over the weekend that there may be more on the way, and we're going to get a sort of iterative process here of inching forward on various routes. A big visa waiver, the kind that some are calling for, I think that might be too far in the eyes of this government.
Tom Harwood, our political correspondent, thank you so much.